Whitney Erickson.
I regret immediately not bringing a water to this. It's in the car.
You've got chai right there.
That's not the same.
What do you mean? Whitney, here, give me a little skin. I am super excited to have Whitney Erickson in the podcast studio. I wish I honestly, I'm going to start recording the pre-game is so much more fun.
I'm so good live, you know?
Well, you're live right now.
I know, but before this.
Oh, before. So good. Listen, Whitney, super rad to have you here. Not only is it going to be entertaining and fun, but the storytelling. I've known you since you were a little kid. And to see you here now and what you're doing and kind of jumping ahead, you are the executive director of OpenWater. I had one of the founders here, our good mutual friend, Danny Nichols, was my crash test dummy, podcast number 1 a couple years ago. A lot has changed, a lot of evolution has happened, and you're now at the driver's seat of OpenWater, which is an incredible organization doing really, really good things, what we'll talk a lot about. But more than that today, we're going to tell the Whitney Erickson story because it, too, the way I look at your life, what I know of it, and I know a lot, but I certainly don't know it all, so I look forward to connecting the dots. It has really dovetailed and brought you to where you are today. So your personal life and your professional and lots of things have brought you, because I think, and we'll get to it, I don't know if I would have ever said 10 years ago, 15 years ago, oh, in 10 or 15 years, Whitney's going to be running this incredible nonprofit. But I'm so glad you are.
Same, right?
Right? Exactly. So listen, we're going to connect the dots. The whole purpose here is sharing stories of really good people doing really good things. And it's been really fun for me to watch you from a little kid on the boat during Catalina crossings, because your dad, Jeff, and your uncle, Scott Lincoln, and I paddled a lot together for a very long time. Scotty was my paddle partner for about 10 years. Your dad was off on the escort. He trained with us for a few times and raced with us. And you were along for the ride for a lot of it. So I've known you for a long time. And so it's really just wonderful to see what you're doing. And but the story and the path and who you are, it's just rad. I love you. So I'm super stoked to have you here.
Thanks. I love you too.
Thanks, Whit. But let's start at the beginning, because
January 14th, 1986.
86.
Hoag Hospital.
I was sophomore in high school.
Is that how far apart we are in age? I thought we were the same age.
You're definitely not that old, and I wish I was that young. But talk about, you grew up. Let's talk about where you grew up, and then we'll talk about really how you grew up, because I think that's the beginning of the game.
Sure. I'm from here.
Where's here?
Here is technically, so both my parents are from Costa Mesa, and my stepmom is also from Costa Mesa, and all their siblings. So I'm deep OC, Costa Mesa kid.
But you grew up in Huntington, right?
I mean, would you say that? I went to high school there. My parents moved to Huntington when I was 11.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
And because we, Costa Mesa, Newport Beach up until then. And it was a big deal to move to Huntington because my dad was a Newport Beach surfer. And he was like, ugh, Huntington. But then, can't get him out of Bolsa now. He's like, I'm not going to drive elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, I paddled at Newport Outrigger.
Well, let's talk before that. When you were a kid, were you sports, schools?
Oh, God. No, I was such a weirdo. I went to a little private school in Eastside Costa Mesa called Park Private. There's 100 kids there. Oh. And I was a really big deal, obviously.
You were a big deal?
I think I organized my first protest in the 4th grade, and it was just a signature campaign. It wasn't anything egregious. We didn't march. I got in so much trouble. I used to get in trouble in school for wearing too much jewelry or putting gift wrapping in my hair because I thought it was cute flair. And I wore my Halloween socks in February, and I was I broke the uniform rules hand over fist, and that was such a problem. It really planted the seed of nonconformity for me to be in a rigid school like that, because academically, crushing it. So I thought, well, if my report card looks good, I can do whatever I want. And so I raged against all other constraints at all times.
And that started that young?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, so you've been consistent, because the moral of the story is not much has changed, right?
In that vein, yeah, I think too, learning that that's who I am naturally, and then fighting through all other people's ideas of what it should look like, and then turning 29 and a half and being like, I feel like a woman. And then just being like, fuck this, fuck that, no. And then the older you get, especially this like 29 to 39, which I'm at the cusp, I'm like 39 and a half, you just get like more and more confident, and you care less and less and less and less about all the other things. And now I'm like, well, there's no rules at all. Fantastic.
It's a really good outlook. Not everybody can play by those rules or lack thereof.
I agree completely. That's why I don't give people advice. Because people who I've been like, oh, I did it this way, they do it and then get fired from their job or something. So
You even told me before, you're like, can I swear? Because if I can't say the F word, then I'm not going to be my authentic self.
I'm going to have to go. Thanks for the t-shirt.
I'm like, I love it. There's nothing better than a well-placed F-bomb. But you also said, as a teacher, we're foreshadowing, what you're like, I can, what did you say?
It's a classroom F-bomb, right? Like, you like abbreviate it so like they know what you said
Without.
and what you meant, but it's not like the hard you.
So you didn't really break the rules, you kind of skirted it.
Well, okay.
Story of your life.
I don't know where
right
we're
there.
at in this story, but sports-wise, in school, meh. I was really into like pom-poms and batons. I know, right?
What?
I know, dude.
Okay, I missed this episode.
So Lori, my real mom, if you will, she was a cheerleader at T-Winkle, and she had her huge pom-poms. They were the size of my whole body, and there were two of them. Half yellow, half green. I took those things everywhere. I took those things to the beach. I was so into that. But I was also good at like flag football.
Which is now like a collegiate,
Oh,
unbelievable.
man.
You would have been
I
scholarship
wanna
anywhere
go
in the country.
backwards and play flag football. I would have crushed. But yeah, so I was super girly, like I wanted to be girly on the outside, but it was like not cool in the 90s. So I was like at home when I was by myself, it was like lipstick and pom-poms and jewelry. My grandma's had all this costume jewelry. I would put it all on at the same time. But I got into surfing because of my dad.
How old?
Immediately. So I kind of remember this day, but there's also a photo with like a note on the back of my first wave. Of course, he taught me how to surf at like 62nd Street, so it was terrifying. But yeah, I popped up by myself. He did the bicycle thing where he's like, I'm going to hold on to the back. And then you don't understand that that's impossible physically because you're 7. But so popped up on my first wave. Only got to surf like every other weekend because that's when I saw my dad when I was little. But never stopped loving it. And surfing is a great place for people who don't like authority and constriction and stuff. So,
And while you're not old, 25 years ago, surfing was much less of a sport and more of a lifestyle.
and much less of like a place where you see
Yeah,
girls.
right.
For sure, all my wetsuits growing up were like boys' wetsuits, which is fine. Like, tried a wetsuit on at the swap meet once when I was a little kid. Talk about sweaty.
The sweat word keeps coming up with you. I don't know why.
I feel good right now.
Oh, that's good.
We're gonna have to check in, but I feel good at the moment.
I appreciate earlier you mentioned like I wore deodorant today.
I did because I'm gonna sweat, but at least it won't smell like coconuts.
Oh, it's the Whitney Erickson show already. This is what I was hoping for. So listen, some of the stuff you've talked about, how at school, academics, and this like dichotomy between surf girl and pom-poms and costume jewelry with Grant, like I remember bits and pieces of it, but you're like painting this picture of this person that had, and then your first activist, movement in 4th grade and got in so much trouble, but you crushed it in school. One of the things I think about you is this. What's the nickname that people have applied to you? I don't know where it came from, but what's the wild nerd Whitney?
Oh, I gave that to myself.
Oh, did you? Hey, show the camera your...
Where's the camera? Is it that
one?
This
Let's
one
see your
right here?
knuckles.
Can you see it?
Nerd.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Because you've always been... Well, talk about it.
Yeah. So someone said, like, you can't give yourself a nickname. And I was like, watch me. Yes. Okay. So school, I'm a school brain. I have school brain. I didn't work hard to get good grades. I'm not bragging. I just want to say I spent 13 years in public education. Every kid is different, and school is only written for one kid. I happen to be that kid. So I found out that you could get in a lot of trouble still, but be like, oh, straight A's. Whereas like my sister struggled academically, and so there was a lot more negativity put on her for that. And then she was just like a monster athlete. And I was like, well, that's good too, right? And then when she got away from school and got into really physical work that spoke to her, right? So I was like, man, what the hell? But whatever, when I was younger, real smarty pants, didn't do anything with it. I didn't even finish high school because I didn't like it there.
So Whitney has always been, so there's other words. So there's Wild Nerd Whitney. There is the pirate, or used in different terms. Clearly, just if you listen for the first 5 minutes, you've picked up on this. I don't even know how to describe the kind of kid that you've been consistent, right? Like you have this activist mentality, the watch me mentality, like do really well with life and school, etc. But like, I'm going to do things my own way. I don't care. Fuck it. Right?
It works better when you're authentic, I feel like. And it's not encouraged. So you have to like find your way to authenticity. And then you have to be like, okay, I'm going to keep this. I told you, I did a hypnosis meditation last night in preparation for this. And it's a confidence one. And it just helps me kind of like ground myself in my skin and be like, some people aren't going to like this, and I don't care. But when you're younger, you care about that stuff. You're like, oh no, I have to be the person everybody likes, and it's exhausting. And then you move farther and further and further and further away from who you were to begin with, right? Which is the fourth grader who's pissing everyone off with her weird socks and her protests. So you have to like reconcile all those different versions of yourself, and then you have to preen all the bullshit that doesn't belong to you. And then you're like, okay, great. And now, right, I'm the executive director of OpenWater. I don't have imposter syndrome. I belong here. I'm great at this. I was ready, too. I had my spreadsheets ready 2 months before my promotion. I was like, okay, go.
Yeah, I think everybody was waiting for it.
Oh, you want me a water. Thank you.
So, Whitney, let me ask you this. I find it super interesting because I was the kid that tried really hard to act like I didn't care, but I cared so much. And I got in a lot of trouble for very different reasons as a result of it. How long is it, you mentioned, I think you alluded to it earlier as you've gotten closer to the age you are today. How long did it take you to, you said, as I've gotten older, I give less fucks now, right? It takes a lot to not be authentic, but it takes a long time to find the ability to safely or effectively be authentic if you have these differing views of the world a little bit and still be able to succeed in a mainstream world, right?
Yes, which is why I left my job.
Well, okay.
My very mainstream job.
Yeah. As a teacher in high school.
Teacher. So let me try to sum this up, and then we're going to get caught up on another tangent, and I can't wait to talk to you about. But so high school was tough because I thought it sucked. And so I played water polo and I did swim team because I didn't want to do PE. And my sister was already on the team, right? And I was like left-handed. I was an okay swimmer. But I had authority issues. So I never got any playing time. I got kicked off the water polo team. I got kicked off the pool deck, or like banned from the pool deck eventually. And then I was like, I have no reason to be here. I had a car. I could surf whenever I wanted to. And so I was like, I'm going to junior college anyways. I'm going to finish high school. My parents let me take a test to get out of high school.
To get like your GED or whatever?
I don't even have that. It's like,
wow.
It's called the California High School Proficiency Exam. And it is for 16-year-olds who need to get a job and support their family. It's a very easy test. I slept through that test. I probably got an A+ on it. And
were you a junior when you did that?
I was 16. And wow. I took it, and then I passed. And I was like, can I stop going? And they're like, please finish the school year. And I'm like, well, okay, fine. I'll finish the school year. I'll go to like 7 proms. I went to every prom, Newport Harbor. Huntington, Marina, mine, all the proms.
Working it.
Yeah, I'm a dancer. And then, I started going to OCC a year early, or a year ahead of my class, if you will. And I was like, college is the spot. I'm really going to love college, academically, rigorous, blah, 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 blah. I was pre-med, hilarious. And I started going to OCC, and all I wanted to do was surf. And so I was taking, like, all these hard classes, but they weren't that hard. And I was surfing a lot. And I had no idea what I wanted to do. I worked for Toes on the Nose.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I helped open the shop in Huntington at the Hyatt, and then I was a surf instructor. And I tutored because I'm a nerd. And, I had some other, like, whatever jobs, but no idea what I wanted to do. And then as soon as I was old enough and academically in the right spot, I went on semester at sea.
Hold on. You did?
Yes.
Do you
And I know that you went on semester at
I
sea.
forgot. It's coming back to me. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. When did you go?
I went in 91.
91. Damn.
What
How
year were
was
you
I?
born? Don't tell.
I went on
86?
semester at sea in 2005.
Best thing ever?
Oh God, yeah. If you go on semester at sea and you come back the same, you're gonna
Yep.
do it again. You did
Yep.
it wrong.
Yep.
Um,
I found out about it from a friend of our family went, and I had never heard anything about it. I was in high school, and I was like, I have to do that. That is my goal in life. And my parents were like, oh, you really want to do that? I'm like, I want to do that. They're like, okay, here are the rules. And they're like, you're going to keep a B average. You're going to work your ass off. You're not going to get in trouble in your first 2 years of college. And then if all of that goes well, we'll send you. Because at that time, I was a shit. Like, I was not on great terms with my family. That enticed me to really hunker down and focus. Best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Changed everything.
so semester at sea is like a family legacy for me.
Really?
Lori went in 1980. I'm not going to tell all the details of that, but she went first, and then her sister went. And then when I was like 7, it was never like, this is an option. My grandma was like, when you go on semester at sea,
Wow.
when. So I was 19. I was the youngest student because I was a sophomore already at 19. And my best friend, Kim, who I'm still friends with, who I was besties with all through high school, I was like, you got to come on this with me. And her parents were like, no, that sounds crazy. So we convinced them, and she came. And my parents were like, all right, you've been pretty steadfast that you're doing this. They're like, you can have semester C or you can have a wedding. And I was like 19. I was like, I'm never getting married. Goodbye. And it was the best.
We could do a whole podcast on semester at sea.
I know. I
and
won't
that
go.
experience.
I won't overdo it.
What impact did it have on you, do you think?
That's when I decided to become a teacher.
How come?
I don't know. I was just sitting around a lot, staring at the ocean for days on end, and it just occurred to me.
Were your teachers good on semester at sea? Because my recollection is the way that works. So semester at sea, for anybody that doesn't know, is it's college kids. It's 100 days at sea. It's considered a semester. You have kids from primarily the U.S., but some international. We had like 500 kids on this ship. I mean, it's pretty elite. Like I was so grateful to be in the position to do it.
Yeah.
But they bring teachers in that are experts in their subjects related to the countries that you're going to. So the intent that I learned was always that if you can imagine a tourist and a local or two circles that where they meet, that's what the intent is for students to get there and have a very good working knowledge of the religion, the economics, a little bit of language, culture. So you get there and you're not just a total idiot tourist, you're actually somewhat informed and you're going on excursions related to what you've learned. I found it to be amazing, and my teachers had a real influence on me. I was just wondering if it was influential for you as well.
We had a great global studies professor. We had students, college students from the country we were going to, fly ahead and travel with us. I took a class called Geology of the Planets, and that professor had worked on the moon landing project
Wow.
with NASA. I only passed his class because I wore a bikini. I'm going to be honest with you. He was that way, and I learned that early. But he talked about the moon all the time, and I'm such a smartass. I'm like, the moon's not a planet. But I wrote a paper for him about where all the surf breaks would be on the moon if there was bodies of liquid water. And I might still have it. It's good.
Is anybody pick him up on the wild nerd Whitney, like the dichotomies in here? I love this wit. I only passed because I wore a bikini, but I wrote a paper about where you'd be able to surf if there was bodies of water on the moon.
Yeah.
I love it.
I meet a lot of people who are like, oh, you're like a dumb surfer. I'm like, that's pejorative. Where does that come from? Even one of my neighbors, he was like, I had no idea you were so smart. I'm like, okay. Why do you presume that about people? That's so wild to me. Girls can be both. But yes, so semester C, I decided to become a teacher. Came home, lost my shit, right? I was like so overwhelmed when I got home by everything I had just seen. Yeah. My parents sent me to Costco, and I cried in the parking lot because I was like, I can't go in there. There's too much stuff in there. I can't Costco shop after being in India. I can't do it. So I spiraled super hard, and I had 7 part-time jobs, and I dropped out of school for a semester, and then I went back to school and I took surfing, furniture construction.
Were you at OCC the whole time?
Oh yeah, I would have stayed. I'd be at OCC now.
You loved
still,
it?
if I could. Kim transferred to UC Santa Barbara, moved on with her life. I was like, oh my God, what? So then I was like, all right, get serious, become a math major, transfer to Chapman.
A math major. It's the last thing in the world I would be able to do. Last.
Yeah, it's not that fun. I was in Calc 3 at Chapman, and this is when I was grown. I was feeling grown, and I would go take my calc book to the local pub and get a whiskey and do vector calculus. And then I was working in the surf shop still, and I always had a math book out on the table. But Chapman was interesting because it's there's 6 kids in your class, and the math you're talking about is and I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to help kids who are bad at math learn algebra. So this math major stuff is dumb. It's not going to help me do that better. They have a teaching major there. So I was in classes with all these girls. There's one boy. He was also going to be a math teacher. All these girls are going to be elementary school teachers, and me and this dude were going to be high school math teachers. But they put me in a classroom at Chapman. They had me teaching PE to kindergartners and art to 3rd graders and singing and dancing and reading books, and they put me in a classroom with kids. And then, because I know how to do math already, right? I just didn't know how to be a teacher.
How did you like that first experience being a teacher? Was it what you were expecting or hoping?
Well, college was fun, right? And then I went to UCI, and they have this dope MAT, single subject credential program. So you get a master's and a teaching credential in 15 months. It's 5 straight quarters. It will kill you. It was bad for my surfing. But
how was the whiskey at that time? That'll help you get through.
I might have been rum and Coke. I definitely I had one class at UCI that was so bad that we made cocktails on the last day and put them in our coffee mugs that we got drunk in class.
I might have done that this morning before this meeting with you.
You did not. You didn't even offer me any.
You need to be sober for this. I don't know.
Yeah. So I became a teacher. Because I want to help people who were bad at math, and also became a teacher because I hate school. And I was like, from the inside, I could probably fuck this up a little bit.
So, okay, let's talk about that. So for someone that didn't like school, that was not that you were disrespectful for school, but you really didn't have any love for it, but you want to go back into it. Why?
It aligns with my spiritual beliefs that we come here to be humans, to struggle. And on my first day as a high school teacher, I was like, whoops.
Didn't take long.
I was like, what have I done? I hated it here, and now I work here? It's like purgatory. Being the teacher is just like being in high school again. I really bit it on that one.
What school did you end up in?
I ended up at the only school I taught at was the most perfect school for me in the whole wide world. And I stayed there my whole career, which is very lucky. Lucky, whatever, I don't believe in luck. But it was the right thing for me. I was at Ocean View High School in Huntington. And I remember driving to the interview. I had a really crappy interview at a different school the day before, and I had worn like a blazer and I looked like an idiot, and I was blah, blah, blah. I did the thing where I was trying to be someone else and I sound like an ass. So I was like, I'm gonna go in this interview, I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna wear what I want to wear, I'm gonna be authentic. I went like 2 hours early and I walked around the school. I met the librarian and the secretaries, and then everyone who interviewed before me, I also met them, and they all thought I worked there already. And then I went last. And I wasn't even home yet before they called me back.
Wow. Bang.
Yeah.
Made that kind of... why do you think you made such an impression?
Well, I cried in my interview.
Does that work well? I've never tried that one.
I don't interview well. I mean, I've chewed gum in an interview. I've said the F word in an interview. I've done all the things. You have to... I don't know that I've ever interviewed for a job and got it besides this one. And they asked me my philosophy of teaching. I'm going to cry right now. They asked me my philosophy of teaching, and I just started crying because it's humanitarian work. I don't.
Wow.
I
Cool.
don't.
Look at you. I don't have a napkin to give you. Oh, you have
I
one. Okay.
pregame.
No,
I
you
don't-
planned it. What?
I don't care if I teach a class and kids are good at math. It doesn't matter.
What does matter? I love the side of you, Whitney. I've not ever seen this before.
I thought about that today. I was like, he's probably never seen me cry.
I haven't. I didn't know if you knew how.
Oh my God. Ask other people. Anyways,
But why is this so
it's a people thing, right? You want the kids to have an experience that helps them move forward as a human. And they have to do this icky thing. Like, I just talked to someone the other day, and they're like, oh man, you taught algebra too, so like you saw the worst version of all these kids. And I was like, yeah, for the most part, they come in, they're already freaked out, they're guarded, they hate you.
You're talking about me and my daughter when it comes to math.
Well,
in
yeah,
school.
people project all their shit onto the teacher, so then you come in and the teacher's like, what's up, fuckers? You know, it's your opportunity, right, to diffuse that for them.
Is
And
some
they
of,
might learn. Usually they did, right? New words, some math.
Did you help those kids that came in that way, projecting and scared of math or had a hard time? What do you when they were done with Miss Erickson's class, like, how do you think, if I talked to them today, what would they say about their experience with you? What do you think, on average?
I believe the term is GOAT.
Really?
Oh yeah, I didn't know what
Greatest of
that.
all times.
I don't know what that meant. And some kid was like writing it all over the room, and I was like, Joey, what is that? And he was like, greatest of all time. I'm like, oh, me? And he's like, yeah. He was like, last year in geometry, I smoke weed every day before class. And he goes, I don't have to do that for this class.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, good. You just smoke weed after school then?
He's like, I wait.
He's like, now I wait till after school.
I wait till biology.
Because I don't need it for your class. So.
Wow. Do you think that it's so emotional for you and like it was such a driving force for you because of your experience and how much you did not like school?
Definitely. I had tons of fun in the classroom with the kids. And then what schools do when you're like a young teacher and you don't know any better is they're like, oh, we're going to put you on this committee and we're going to give you this extra responsibility. And they like suck up all your life force doing that. But I'm always like, they love me. Of course I'll be in charge. I'm great at being in charge. So then I'm like doing all this other stuff at school and nobody likes my ideas, right? Because they're too wild. They're radical. I'm like, school should start at 9. Guess what time that shit starts now? Oh, 9 o'clock.
Really?
It's legislated. They made school start later. Oh. And 11 years ago, I was on the Bell Schedule Committee being like, we should start school later. Mostly because I wanted to surf before school. I tried to start a surf team at Ocean View. That really cut into my personal surfing. I had to let that go. It was too much work. Yeah.
Whit, this is really interesting. I mean, to go from hating school and not dropping out,
No.
testing
I just
out.
left.
And just left, but you tested out, went on. So you ended up getting your master's. You went to like 4 different colleges along the path, right?
Yes.
Your master's teaching credential program at UCI.
Yep.
So you're an anteater.
Zat.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't even have my diploma. I didn't go to my graduation.
Why?
I wasn't in the habit of going to those at the time, right? So I didn't go to my high school one because I wasn't a student there anymore. I didn't go to my Chapman graduation because I went to Vegas with my friends instead. And then, when the master's one came around, they were doing like a cohort graduation. It was like 13 people. And I was like, I'm not driving all the way to Irvine for that.
I'm going surfing.
Exactly.
Got
They had just trapped me at school for 15 straight months. That was good.
I'm
It
done.
was the first time I ever went to summer school,
Wow.
grad school. And I was like, you tricked
Look
me.
at you. Look at you.
Yeah.
And so there's stuff I'm going to get back to, but let's keep going. So you teach. Talk about your career teaching.
Oh my God, I was so bad at it.
What do you mean?
At the beginning.
Okay. But you're the
Right?
GOAT. I thought you were the GOAT.
Well, you don't get there automatically. It's hard, right? So you know how jobs are, right? You have one. You go to college and they're like, oh, this is all the stuff you need for the real world. And then you get to your job and you're like, whoa, no one said anything about this shit. And teaching is that, right? First of all, they don't teach grading at teacher college. That's bullshit. If I could go back and teach a class at teacher college, I would teach about grading. Because I don't know if you know this, but people who hate math become teachers in every other subject. And so those people are making grades, and most people are just grading how they were graded, which is a garbage way to start anything. So they don't teach you how to grade. They don't really teach you anything about classroom management. They don't teach you what to do when a kid wants to fight you. They don't teach you what to do when a 14-year-old girl is pregnant. They don't teach you any of that shit. So you get in there and you think you know what you're doing. And I tried to dress like a teacher for a little while.
How'd that fare?
It was poor. It went poorly. So it took me like 3 years to get good. But they didn't fire me. So 3 years to get good, and then 8 years at a blast. I got good at it. We had fun. We did, we blew bubbles. We went on walks. We listened to music.
You changed the paradigm in the classroom, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I had a principal, the principal who hired me, he was like, you make the weather in there, so FYI. Because I found myself one time, I was like nodding off in my own class.
It's a problem.
I was sitting there teaching, and I was like, oh, my God, so fucking bored. And I was like, whoa, okay, if I'm bored,
I'm killing these
want to
kids.
die. I was like, all right, get up. We're going outside. So I found a way to make kickball a part of Algebra 2. And I partnered with the physics teacher on a project. What did we do? Oh, we did trebuchet launchers, the physics teacher. And we went to the pool because I like the pool. And I was like, we're having a pool day.
I love all this. So, but you pivot at one point.
Pivot super hard.
Hold on.
We probably should.
Let's stop for a second. Let's go back a couple things.
Yeah.
I could stay on this all day long between semester at sea and your teaching experience and your view of the world, which is super different. Your authentic Nate. I love all this, Whit. One of the things I remember, not maybe most, but a lot about you growing up was your hula.
Oh man,
You did a lot of hula,
I
right?
love hula. Okay.
I promise we'll get back, but this is something that went Hawaii
came
on.
from Outrigger for me, so we can back that up
let's do that.
to this beautiful time in my life where I was in 12 years old, and my parents put me on a canoe team with a kid from my elementary school, Kiona Dutro. His mom's a Kalama. Their family ran Newport Outrigger. My sister and I started paddling Outrigger. And there weren't a ton of keiki programs at the time, but man, we had our dad's upper bodies. We were beasts in the canoe. I started steering when I was 13. We were racing in regatta season, and that's when they were quarter-mile sprints. I did a 4-mile sprint in June. That shit takes too long. Oh my God. Quarter-mile sprints, super, super fun. We are traveling, we practice all the time. Auntie Leigh would pick all of us up because we were all like latchkey kids. And so, summertime, she'd come pick all of us up in her VW bus that we'd have to push before it would start and take us to the dunes, and we would paddle. And it was not like leisure paddling. We trained. She put a tire on the front of that thing. And
you liked it?
Oh, I loved it. And when I was 13, she was like, you guys are doing Catalina this year. So to my knowledge, we're the first keiki team to do Catalina. And we're
Keiki, just for anybody's sake, Hawaiian for kids.
Kids. We were kids. We were all under 18. And it was co-ed crew. And some of the boys on my team, their family ran a dance studio, Polynesian dance studio, Lokilani's Rhythm of the Islands. And so we had first Newport Outrigger fundraiser ever. And Auntie Leigh took all the girls on the canoe team, and we're all like this, right? And she goes, you guys are going to go learn a hula from Auntie Kathy, and you're going to perform it at the fundraiser. We're like, what? Okay. And we went, and she taught us a Tahitian song. I still know it. I'll show you later.
I've seen you do this more than once.
Yes. So, and we performed at the luau at the fundraiser, and I think 3 of us, we got bit and we started dancing. So I danced with them all through high school and college. I taught classes there. I performed in Tahiti. Fun fact, we did a parade for the president of Tahiti while we were there.
Really?
And someone took my picture, and it has been in the airport in Papeete in the window ever since. It's right by McDonald's.
Wow.
It's hilarious. Great picture of me, but it's so funny. I love dancing so much. Yeah.
Got it. Rad. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't realize. Well, I realized some, but I didn't know Tahiti. Again, that's the fun stuff about this stuff. I didn't realize that you had done Catalina at 13. So
13 and 14 and 15 and 16 and 17. Going. When I was 17, I started the day steering, and then she never let me out of the boat. So I iron steered Catalina at 17, and I remember after that being like, well, this is over for me. And then aging out of the kids program and being faced with like the world of adult women outrigger at 18 years old, and I was like, too much.
So what did you do?
I just was dancing and surfing, right? And so surfing and dancing, they don't go well together because for dance we had to braid our hair. Mm-hmm. And so I would braid my hair for shows and then wrap it in saran wrap and put it in my hat and then go teach surf lessons and try to keep my hair dry and then go perform that night.
That's dedication right there.
I had to have both. And one time, I think I rolled my ankle. I've gotten hurt at Blackie's a lot of times, which I think is weird, but I've also had some like banner days at Blackie's where it's like Tuesday at 2:00, it's a Westwell, no one's there, the sun's out. I rolled my ankle at Blackie's and we were getting ready to go to Tahiti. And so I like come to the dance studio on crutches, and they were like, and they banned me from surfing. Mm. And I was like,
I bet you do great with bands like that.
I was like, that sucks. But so then obviously I kept surfing, and then I got stung by a stingray. And so then I had to go in and pretend like my foot didn't hurt because I couldn't tell them that I had gone surfing and I got stung. So then I went to Tahiti in 2004, and I didn't surf. We did 14 shows in 12 days. And I got in the ocean, but I didn't surf.
Isn't it, maybe I'm naive here, but American hula, mainland hula, going to dance in Tahiti seems like taking sand at the beach. Am I missing something?
Okay, so just to clarify, we had a full Polynesian show. So we did hula, which is Hawaiian. We did Tahitian, which has a lot of different facets, but most people know it for like the drumming and the hips and stuff. We had a Maori set, and which is the poi balls and some of this like beautiful slower stuff, and we had a Samoan set. So we had this robust, very entertaining storytelling show. And in Tahiti, they have a season called Heva season, and Polynesian companies, Tahitian dance studios from all over the world come and compete. And it's very welcomed.
Rad. Love that. Super diverse. I mean, your path, it's so interesting. This is the stuff I love, like connecting the dots. Didn't know. Yeah. I need to be careful because we have plenty of time, but I want to make sure we get all the way through. Let's go back to teaching. So you teach for how long?
13 years.
And then what?
We should say that throughout this time, I actually got married.
Yeah, that's where I was going to say. How do we weave this in?
So,
because this is a big part of where you are today.
It's relevant, right? There was a boy that I had gone to school with in junior high, in high school, and actually the last time I remember seeing him was September 11th, actual, 10th grade. We were just friends. We served together. We were friends. And he joined the Marines after high school, and I never really thought about it. And we bumped into each other one day, and then he was like, let's get tacos and catch up. And then we started dating, and then he was going to Iraq, and he was like, I don't really have time to date you, so I want to lock this in, commitment. Let's be together. And I was like, okay, sure. No, totally out of character for me. Just kind of flew out of my mouth. And then I had this boyfriend, right? And he was at the war. And that was wild for me. So he went to Iraq. He came back. Full trauma bond, just instant. And we were 20, And then...
No, well, you said trauma bond. He had trauma from his experience.
He had trauma from his experience. I had trauma from being the bystander. From the phone calls and the worrying and the... I'll explain to you a deployment psychology as a woman, or at least as a spouse, right? Because I don't want to say that the only people staying home are the women, but I was a woman, and I'm still one.
That's good to know.
Okay, anyways.
You never know these things. You just got it right.
I just want to clarify that. So this guy is super gnarly, super intense, super serious about me, and hindsight's 20/20. He was like my grandfather, and so
in what way?
They say girls marry their dads. So my sister's first husband was just like our dad, and my first husband was just like our grandpa, my mom's dad. And of course, we both got divorced because we're Ericksons, and we needed training wheels.
Is that the family joke?
Not that I share with anyone. It's just funny. She got divorced right before me, and she got married right before me. My sister got married when she was 21. I got married when I was 23. So when I decided to get married, it was because he was going back. He was going to Afghanistan, and we didn't tell anyone that. We were just like, oh, hey, everyone, we're getting married.
Oh, so he had gone to Iraq. He's going to have to go back.
And so we had a plan, right? He's going to Iraq. He's going to come back. He's going to get out. He's going to be a police officer. I was going to be a teacher, blah, 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 blah. Fences, dogs, children. And we did try that. So he got a job at Costa Mesa PD, and then he failed his psych eval. Because of the war trauma and the way that it makes you act. And by then I was kind of pretty locked in, and it was a hostile environment, but I was in there.
What was hostile? The marriage?
Our home.
Or your?
Yeah, we weren't even married yet. It was just moved out of my parents' house, and it was a whole thing, and they were like, what are you doing? And I was such a dick, right? I knew everything, so I was like, I got it. So being a civilian didn't work nicely for him. So he joined the reserves, and I was like, oh, wait, this might help. You can do both. So going to school, join the reserves. They're like, we're going to Afghanistan. And I was like, fuck. Okay, we should get married before you go. because we were going to do it anyways. And this way, like, at least I'll get all the phone calls and whatever. I can handle your business for you, and then it doesn't have to go to someone else. So we, like, got married, and people were like, oh my God, how pregnant are you?
Big deal, or like small little?
Super small, like planned it on Monday, did it on Thursday. Everyone thought I was knocked up. The speeches were atrocious. It was terrible. It was the world's okayest situation. And then, you know, he went to Afghanistan, and everyone was like, oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. And at the time, I was at UCI. So the Afghanistan deployment was bad. And so people share this. I think people share this. I think we like generally accept it, but like this stranger came home.
Really?
Totally. Like his body didn't look the same, his face. And for me, I'm like, well, I'm already married. I said I would do the thing. I'm doing the thing. And you're like trying to be compassionate because it's hard. So we like forged ahead, and it was like so messy and hard and terrible. And he got back in, and he went Special Forces route. And so what that means is they're just gone a lot more. So because I told you about this earlier, like I'm a rationalizer. And I'm a big nerd. So I counted the days once. So in the 8 years that we were married, I counted the days he was gone, and it came out to 85%.
Wow.
And on the one hand, they're getting treated better in this community, nutrition, fitness, resources.
When you say this community, you mean in service?
In the Special Forces, right? So we went from like Marine Corps infantry to reserves to spec ops, right? So now they're like, the training is elite, there's resources, whatever. And this is where I met all my girlfriends, right? This is where I met like the good chicks, right? Because you can imagine me, right? I'm fantastic. And,
the goat.
Right? Everyone else who had married into that environment was the same. Wow. They were all bad bitches, right? So they're cool, they're fun. We got along really well when we were like 25.
Yeah. And
we thought we were adults. We had houses, you know, we had all of this. And it's such a wild time and a scary time. Yeah. And yeah, you're not sleeping at all, really.
When he's deployed?
Yeah.
It's got to be a constant state of fear.
Yeah, you're just elevated constantly. You're always worried, and you know.
I know we could go into the science of this because that's in OpenWater. You know all the science behind it now.
I am uniquely qualified for my job because
I'm
the demo.
You're
right?
the target audience.
So it was really important to me when I came on OpenWater. I told Danny, like, we have to help the families.
Not just the individuals, but the families.
Yeah. So yeah, it was fucking crazy, right? It was a wild time. And we were super young, and it was just super chaotic and violent, and I like emotional health-wise, just
plummeted.
Ugh.
This is the time that I would consider, like, as long as I've known you, like, the dark period. Not because I knew what you were going through. I just didn't see you.
Right. No one did.
I didn't see you until after.
Till I came back. Because even though we were still living around here, we spent a little time in Oceanside, but I didn't see my parents. It was very isolating. And so you're a part of like that community, but you're not really part of anyone else's community. I couldn't talk about it at work, right?
Yeah.
You know,
right.
I'm the only teacher in Huntington Beach whose husband's in Afghanistan, right? Or at least at my school. And, you know, no one could relate to me. And then I had this chip on my shoulder about it too. Like, you don't know how hard it is. And like, I was a dick for sure. And I had all this pride and I was just rotting inside. And
so what did you do?
I cried.
What were you doing for yourself? Were you still surfing? Or were you still dancing?
I wasn't dancing because I was teaching full time and I couldn't do both. I was getting as much water time as possible. I was swimming like 2 miles a day.
Wow.
And that was very helpful. There was
that was your therapy?
Olympic-sized pool on Camp Pendleton. I was on my way home. And I would just get in there.
Were you driving from school in Huntington down to Oceanside every day?
I did that for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That in its own right is brutal.
Yeah. That was my crying time.
I can only imagine how challenging. I can't imagine. And I can see it on you. I mean,
Yeah.
but it also foreshadows why what you're doing in OpenWater is such a perfect, maybe not a perfect fit, it's probably the wrong term, but like why you're there and how you ended up there. So
I would say in the grand scheme of the universe, it is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is a perfect fit. This is a perfect combination of all of my skill sets and my lived experiences and my work skill sets and my ocean experience. That's why I'm here. That's why I looked at this and was like, this is clearly what's next.
And with your knowledge, you can make a big difference and an impact.
Yeah. For sure. And my amazing support system. My really good friends from Semester at Sea actually were the ones who told me, like, you need to get a divorce. I habitually visit Key Largo, where my friend from Semester at Sea is from, and I was on, like, my annual visit, and we were out on the dock. They have oodles of children, so the kids were sleeping, and we went, like, charcuterie, wine, a couple of blunts out on the dock. And they're like, hey.
A little intervention happened?
They're like, dude, you're sad. And I was like, I know, I'm so sad. And they were like, you gotta fucking fix it. And I, at the time, like, my ex and I, we weren't even living in the same state. He was gone training. And I called him on the phone. And I was like, we broke up on the phone. Like, I cried like a psychedelic mushroom cry, organically, at that moment. And it was still, I'll back this up a little bit. I knew I needed to leave 4 years before I made that phone call.
We hear that pretty often. It's hard, right?
It's hard, and I was trapped, and I was young and scared, and I didn't tell my parents anything until all the way after. And I had to take a Xanax to tell them.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fucked, and I needed that, like, that late 20s, almost 30 confidence. It was like, I'm going to turn 30. I can't do this for another 10 years.
Okay.
I'll die.
So thank you for sharing all this. I know we can obviously tell, and I know that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But without being insensitive about it, moving through it, once you went through that, had that call, went through the process, whatever that took, how did you recover? What changes did you make? What did that look like? How did you get to where you are today since then?
So, like I said, I have an amazing support system. My parents were very cool. They were like, eh.
Your parents are very cool.
They're
All
cool,
the
right?
time,
They
yeah.
were like, yeah, it's fine. You're messy. We love you. My friends, I worked out at the gym until it stopped working. I've tried a lot of different therapy. But, oh, man, it was brutal. It was a hard, 18 months before I realized that I was, in fact, the problem. So, I got out, got some space, free, right? And I'm, still in my, victimhood. He hurt me. And then one day, I, collapsed under the awareness that all of this was my shit. And that was the Xanax day. Because that's hard. Because he could have been anyone, and I probably would have had the same relationship. Because that's the relationship I needed to learn the lesson that I needed to learn. And so the process of going from finding that out unexpectedly to accepting it and being able to move on, that was 5 years. And it was a great 5, right? I had talk therapy. I went on a plant medicine retreat for military spouses. That really changed the game for me. I found a spiritual practice for the first time in my life. I just
Went after it.
Yeah, I got after it. And then,
You were also, over and above the therapies and that stuff, you were also, if I recall, starting to go west, go to the ocean.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, I did the quintessential post-divorce channel crossing. I did a rock to rock. Prone. It was Morgan's idea. Morgan Hostery, previous podcast guest, awesome water woman. We met at the gym a long time ago, and there weren't a lot of chicks at our gym, and so we started hanging out because we liked all the same stuff. And so she and I actually both got divorced around the same time, and she had moved back here, and she was like, oh, I got this boat, right? You should do a channel crossing, and this other girl from the gym too. And so training for that was helpful. I ran into you while I was training for that.
In the bay.
And
I remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you told me?
I remember we fought a little bit.
Well, you said something about something to do with we have drinks before we paddle.
Oh yeah, because I was literally drinking and smoking weed. I was unwell.
Oh, I know.
No bones about it.
Yeah, I remember that.
We still
clearly.
got first place in the relay.
Yeah, fueled by.
I will say that I smoked a little bit of weed the night before, but I wasn't crazy. But I trained shitty, right? And my youth got me through, if you will. And then I suffered a tremendous shoulder injury a year ago that really put me in my place.
But I remember you during that time. And the first time I saw you, these are moments with you that I recall super clearly where I hadn't seen you for a long time. And I went to, it was either your dad's birthday or Scotty Lincoln's birthday.
Yeah.
And I walk in and you looked very different than you do right now. Mm-hmm. What were you looking like in those days?
Okay, so I was working out a lot of my issues on my hair. Mm-hmm. So I had a mohawk for a long time, and it was all these different colors. I looked great.
You looked great.
Very punk rock.
Very different than today.
But it's just it's a huge commitment, lifestyle wise, to have to go to the barbershop all the time.
You
have
were
to dye your hair.
You were very made up, and you were very punked with very straight up hair.
Yep.
And I hadn't seen you with all the tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
So when you came over, I was
tattoo therapy.
It surprised me. Well. I was like, hold on, Whitney? What? Because I really, there was a dark period. So just because we're on it, talk about the tattoos. Because you're not afraid.
No,
But they represent you really well, tattoos. So talk about them.
Yeah. So I didn't get a tattoo until I was 26.
Post-divorce?
No.
Before divorce?
Before. I wanted tattoos when I was 5 years old. And it was always something that was on the list. But then, I had a very conservative job, and I wanted to make sure I was making the right choice with my aesthetic and whatever. So my sister took me to get a tattoo when I was 26. I got this cliche Erickson anchor that I absolutely love. And then this octopus was my second tattoo.
Wow. No.
0 to 100.
Yeah,
I have 2 speeds. Yeah. So This was it. Yeah, tattooed through my divorce quite a bit, and there's like a thing for that. Like, there's a very helpful catharsis there with that pain. To the point where I got tattooed recently for the first time in like 2 years, and I was worried that it was going to hurt different and I wasn't going to like it because I'm so healthy and happy now.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, is this going to be less fun because I don't need this pain the same way? It was fine, but I was worried. But yeah.
So there's stories with regard to your tattoos, not just what we see, but who you were at the time and what you got from the process and what it did.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I don't.
You add more?
They're all. Oh yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
halfway through this one on my. I got a new shark surprise.
Well, that's okay. So but the themes, I see the shark tooth on your thumb. Obviously, the octopus. Gotta love the lightning bolt.
Little math.
But
over here.
you got this. Like, there's a lot of ocean related.
Yes.
How big is the ocean in your world?
Oh man, I can't leave.
Or what is it to you?
Yeah, I mean,
You are a faucet. You just turn it on and off. It's amazing.
I just want to say that I should have checked the moon schedule before I agreed to this day. No, the ocean is the. You know.
I do.
It's like the place where I'm from.
Well said.
Like, you can go days and then you just go get your feet wet and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you can jump off a sailboat naked in the middle of the ocean and just the freedom.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think all of this leads to OpenWater
100%.
because that is what it is and that's what it provides and that's the goal of the organization is to help people. So everything you just talked about, what you've gone through and how you've navigated it is really who you're serving, right?
Yeah.
Talk about OpenWater. We can talk about the details of what it does and who provides, but why you and OpenWater? What got you into OpenWater?
Morgan.
We love Morgan.
Morgan and Danny. Danny was bringing his daughter Kate to Watergroms. Morgan.
What's Watergroms, just for context?
You're missing out if you're not taking your kid to Watergroms, just say. Watergroms is the premier, super fun, wipeout survival class for kids that Morgan developed. And then I remember early days was just like inviting me to the pool with some other girls from the gym. Like, hey, do you want to go to the pool and do some weird stuff? And we're like, yeah, what time? So was coaching Watergroms on the weekend, Morgan and Sydney. And
Sydney Terrell.
Mm-hmm. And Danny brought his daughter, and then Danny was like, oh, can you guys put something together for my veterans group or whatever? And I was like, sure, that's easy, no problem. And then I'm really bad at chronological time, but at some point as well, we were going to Tahoe to work for Jay and Anique
Wild,
at Tahoe Waterman.
also in here.
Icons. And Morgan had decided on Danny's behalf that we would be training some of the Veterans Day Crossing paddlers in Tahoe beforehand because she is really good at getting people across the channel, and she's like, this is what they need. So she was up there with Vince and the kids backpacking, and I was going to fly to Reno. She was going to pick me up. We were going to go meet Danny and these strangers. And Danny and I are basically strangers at the time as well. And so I fly to Reno, back when you could fly to Reno from Long Beach for $90 and not stop at 7 places. And I get there, and half of Tahoe is on fire. And she's not there. And I was like, oh, no. And it took her an hour to call me. And I was like, are you dead? She was like, no, but I'm pretty mad and I'm not coming to get you. So she had gotten stuck in the non-fire related, but stuck far away on the other side of the lake. So I took like the world's longest Uber to this house in Truckee, and there is Danny and Brooke and Blake and Jake, and I don't really know them. And I was like, well, hi everyone, what's for dinner? And we spent that time together up there, paddling, getting to know each other. And I was like, I don't know about military people. I'm kind of done with that world.
Yeah, that's like reinserting right into the trauma, right?
Yeah, and I wasn't like better yet.
How long ago? 5 years ago?
2021. Yeah, so it wasn't better yet. I got divorced in 2018. I was on my way, but I wasn't there yet. And, stayed up late one night with Jake Green, who's an Army guy. We'll just say he's an Army guy. He's on our board. And he was talking to me about how he was trying so hard to be a good husband and a good dad. And it just like leveled me. I was like, there's good people. There's good people here. And it was like really helpful for me to see that my experience was not the rule. And after Tahoe, the expectation was that I would paddle, or that I would bring my boat to the channel crossing. And I had a brand new boat, brand new to me, right? Achieving.
Your dad did a whole lot. That was your dad's project, right?
This was before that, though. So it was early boat days where I had my 20-year-old Merc that was just like dangerous and disgusting. And we like limped through a whole season with that. But my boat broke before the channel crossing. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't bring my boat. And he was like, well, you have to paddle then. And I was like, well, that's extreme. But I ended up going to the channel crossing that year, and not as a paddler, but I was like, I can drive anything. Just tell me what you want. So at first he's like, oh, I need you to drive the Hurricane. It was a 57-foot Michelson. I was like, oh, you just show me, right? But their gyro was out.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, is there anything else I could do? Because I'm going to puke. So I get to Two Harbors, 2021 channel crossing, November 11th or November 10th, I get there. And I'm in a room full of
military guys.
It was like a sim, dude. It was like a room full of dudes. They all look the same, and they all look like my ex and all the guys on his team. And I freaked out. I was like, oh, I'm not well enough for this. It was so weird, and it was so gnarly. And then the following day for the paddle, I got to drive the photographers around on this little Zodiac tender. So I spent 10 hours on the water the next day with two wonderful humans. And we were driving by paddlers and dolphins, and it just was the best day. It was such a good conditions, sunshine. And then we went to Duke's afterwards and, had a Mai Tai, and it was great, I was like, all right, this is cool. These people are cool.
Talk about what the channel crossing is real quick.
The Veterans Day channel crossing is like the birth of OpenWater. So we paddle Two Harbors to Huntington Pier every year on Veterans Day.
30 miles.
Between 30 and 36, depending on your lead
right.
boat. Yeah. So you really want to have a good person up there. But it's started as an awareness paddle, and now it is our marquee event, and it is now I would say like the 3/4 mark of our year-long active mentorship program. So every year, 12 brand new people, most of which have never paddled before, apply, interview, come train with us, and do the channel crossing for the first time. And they're supported by a mentor, and then we have our coaches in the water, and then we have our OG waterman, Vince Longo, Joe Scaturo. We have these amazing boaters and boat captains who come and support, all these lifeguards. It's badass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've been proud to be a part of that a couple times.
That's right. You're like my sheriff.
That's what I do. What's the intent? Like, why the channel crossing? What does that mean to these people that interview to be part of it? The active mentorship, they have the training and the coaching, but why a channel crossing? Like, what's the why?
Oh, we give them swag.
I might have some on right now. What do you know?
It's exclusive. No, a channel crossing breaks you into pieces. And I'm not saying like that's the draw. It's the opportunity afterwards to put yourself back together. And it's a physical gateway to like the rest of your fucking healing journey. So I do often talk to people who are like, the paddle looks cool. I'm like, well, okay, it's cool. And then you gotta come check it out to really understand it. And then you can't because you're not invited, right? So what I would say is it is more serious than you think for most of the people in the water. And I don't like it when people come because they want to check a box. And the people who have come to check a box, they come back and they're like, I was wrong. Here's some money. How can I help? And I'm like, oh, thanks. But it will change your life just to spectate that event.
Why?
Because it cracks people open. And then they hit the beach and they're new. It's, oh God. I know, so like, I'm not going to do like names and stuff, but I know people who have like, that's when I decided to get a divorce. That's when I decided to quit drinking. Like, at some point in the channel, you're like, oh shit, how much longer? And all you can think about is like what you want to do differently. And it's a cool motivator. And then you like turn around and you're like, oh, massive accomplishment. And you're like ready.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, you and I can talk all day about that channel and the crossing and all the different events that use it for different reasons, for fundraising, for awareness, for competition and everything else. But I always, as I'm talking or coaching or mentoring or whatever people before they've done their first crossing, you will never look at that body of water the same. Your sense of accomplishment and pride will never be the same. And usually I'm working with people that are like you, that are very fit, they're very ocean aware, they're very capable, and they do the training.
Yeah.
You're working with very different kind of people.
Correct.
In open water.
And we're working remotely with people in other states who are training on lakes and, ponds and,
Arkansas, Texas, Tennessee. Let's go.
Rhode Island.
You're going to paddle in a pond in Texas, and then you're going to come channel cross. Some are on prone, some are on stand up. I mean, it's hard for the best of anybody. Yeah. So for those, I can't imagine, and I've been super grateful to be able to watch.
Yeah.
Well,
and luckily we're working with like a very disciplined and mentally robust group of people. So we're not working with quitters, right? No. So if you look at our demographic, first responders, military, and their family members, they're not fucking around, So even if they're hurting, they will push through. And then if they're really, really, really having a bad day, that's what Morgan's for.
Mm-hmm. She's very good at that.
She's the absolute best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've watched that firsthand. And Danny has talked about that. Danny
is the first person to have a bad day in the channel.
Every time or just that one time?
Not every time, but more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard on its best. And you never know what you're going to get. Again, we can talk about this. I've talked about it on many podcasts because that channel is pretty magical, but you got to do the work and it's always going to teach you something.
Yeah.
Always, always. Mm-hmm. Talk more about OpenWater and what's the mission of OpenWater? Just kind of start at the high.
I'm going to read it.
Perfect.
Because I wrote it down.
Awesome.
So the mission of OpenWater is to support the health and wellness of every first responder and veteran through unique training programs, fellowship, and open water adventures. What that really means is we believe that people who serve in these roles deserve absolute elite training and resources. And that one of the things that is inhibiting a lot of people in these roles, the isolation, the trauma, the things like that. The solution to that is nature and fellowship. So that's what we do. We nature and we fellowship. We invite people to come paddle. And if that's all you ever do with us, I love it. But if that's what you do with us and you say, what else? Boy, do we have a what else.
Talk about some of the other what else.
So I would say, I would be the first person to say that channel crossings are not for everyone. Not, you know.
Me too.
All my friends think they're fun, but that's like 10 of us, right?
Right.
We have a gorgeous partnership with Morgan and Waterlogged where we have our water immersion course, and you can come get in the pool with her, and that can go one of two ways, right? Most people, they do it forever. Some people are like,
Not
that's
for me.
really hard. But she's great with especially people who are like afraid of the water or nervous or anything like that. The being underwater, oh, what a relief.
Right. One of my college buddies used to go, when I'm stressed out at home, I put on my dive gear and I sit at the bottom of the pool.
Yep.
I'm like, it's brilliant.
It's so quiet.
What does the water do? Like from a science perspective, you don't have to use the terms, but like,
Right.
what does water immersion do for humans?
So I will use a little science. So we are part-time water mammals as humans. So there are certain things that happen to our bodies physiologically when we touch water. And some of them are designed to like keep us alive, right? There's blood shift, there's things like that. But your nervous system calms down. And even when you're doing like CO2 tolerance, where you're like, ew, this is so icky and uncomfortable in the moment, when that's over, you sleep like a baby. And it's fun, and the photos are dope. Like, come on, it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win.
Yeah.
So that's our like bestest thing that we do that no one else does at water immersion. We also provide like a superior retreat experience, in my opinion. So we have a performance camp style retreat, but we can also do anything else between like I'm training for a channel crossing and I just need to get away for 5 days, right? But for those 5 days, you're with us. So we're going to the pool, we're going to go surfing, we're going to NAC, we're going to get in a canoe. We have our own canoe now, which is a manifestation of Morgan and I loving training with Tahoe Waterman's OC6 team and not having the time down here to commit to an Outrigger team and just saying for 3 years straight, we need our own canoe team. So we bought a canoe last year, and now we race Scora with our OC6 team, men's and women's. Yeah.
So thank you for sharing the mission and some of the tools that you guys use. You've recently stepped in, so you've been involved since 2021, and you've talked about that. You've recently taken over the executive director role, which is a huge, first, huge congratulations. And after even learning more about your story, it's amazing. I've known you as long as I have, and I've learned so much today. And I think everybody will be inspired by what you've gone through, which has brought you to this point. Talk about the role for you, and maybe we know what OpenWater's mission is, but what's Whitney's mission within OpenWater?
All right. So I want to do a good job. That's like my thing.
Yeah,
I work hard.
You're
I
a
want to
one-trick
do a
pony.
good job.
Right.
I know,
One
right?
way.
Danny and Kyle have, and honestly, our working board up to this point has put a lot into making this what it is. And we have this amazing support system. We have a badass team now. And we also have enough years where there's people who've been through our programs who are now coaching at OpenWater. So we are on like the track. I have no intention to like go anywhere in that way. Like, I don't want to get into like the behind the scenes stuff. Administratively, we're tightening things up. That's my that's my wheelhouse. But we piloted a women's program last year. That's very important to me.
Why?
At the Wild Buffalo Relay. And so apologies to all the dudes who loved that paddle, but I took it away from them and I gave it to the ladies, and it was magic.
Why?
Why? You know why.
I know.
It's me. I'm serving myself. I am taking all of this success and growth and happiness and turning around and reaching back.
Hallelujah.
Okay. Also, I have every intention of starting like a robust children and families program. And we do, like, as we scale, I'd like to be able to help busy people in under 5 minutes. So we are developing webinars, courses, things like that, things that we can implement within an organization. We can go to a police department, we can go to a fire department, we can go to the lifeguards and be like, on your training day, we can provide this for you. So all of those things so that we can make this superior resource catalog available during the time that people have to utilize it. You know, police and fire, they don't have 8 hours on a Saturday to take a seminar.
Yeah.
We need to go to them. And then when they have even less and less time, it's like, okay, here's a breathing exercise that you can do every single night in less than 5 minutes. It's going to change your life. That's the plan.
And 5-minute pieces like that can make a difference.
Oh my God, yeah.
If I had a magic wand, and you know this was coming.
I wrote it.
You're so prepared. You may be the most prepared. This is honestly one of the things I love so much about you. You are one of the, like I said, one trick pony, but like I always say, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Mm-hmm. Like, I think you had said people, like even your neighbor kind of sold you short on your, like, once you know Whitney, like pedal to the metal, chin up, pedal down, do it one way. Like, I just love that about you, but you've come way more prepared than anybody else that's ever sat in that chair for me. So,
but we've had coffee like 100 times, right? And you always ask us questions. The first thing.
See, I'm consistent. I do it in my outside life and in here. So magic wand about what can be done for these people that aren't getting the services or the support that they need today. Yes.
So magic wand, like I already said, I want to help people in 5 minutes or less. We would build our North Star facility, which would include a pool designed by the ladies of Waterlogged Adventures that we have been dreaming about.
So we need
years.
Like a Laird Hamilton house.
It's got to be a really big pool. Just FYI.
Yep.
It can't be a baby pool. I would grow our regions to include an Outrigger program and not just OC1, like OC6. The double holes are amazing that they rig at NAC.
Is it surprising to you? Sorry to interrupt. Is it surprising to you, knowing what you know about outrigger paddling, because you started so young and competed at such a level, that you can use that sport as a tool that ties into what you're accomplishing through OpenWater?
I don't know. I had like this full circle moment at the canoe blessing where like Uncle Roy from Lokilani's was there doing the blessing, and he was singing, and I was dancing, and there was my canoe, and I was just like weeping, and I was just like,
hold on, you weep?
Weep. Someone was like, I saw you, you were crying, and I was like, I'll cry more. Come at me, bro. Anyways, I digress. Canoes are amazing. Yeah, I would put a canoe in every region. I would increase our like service to service coach pipeline. So the more people who, you know, we have a lot of retired fire, marine safety who are now coaching at OpenWater. And it would be great if 100% of our programs were peer-led. They mostly are. The only like non-peer coach is Morgan, who's our chief coach, head person, and she's done it all. So
she has done it all.
She's overqualified, which
for
we
sure.
love. And then I would start a similar women's program on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. There's Wrightsville Beach Outrigger. It's full of military spouses. These women are fantastic, but they do badass long distance paddles, and I want to get involved there and get our people going there. This is Jay Wild's idea, and I told him if I get this, I would escort him for free for life. An OpenWater branded crystal liner.
What size? Oh, like crystal liner being one of the lifeguard boats.
Yes. You know I love boats.
Yep. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm jumping in. What was the moniker that you guys had when you and Morgan had the sailboat?
No boys on the boat.
Yep. How come?
Well, so Zatara, her sailboat, she spent a year loving it back to life, and then its maiden voyage was to 2 harbors for my and our friends' channel crossing, and the one other lady came with us, and we were all 4 girls, and we rolled into 2 harbors, and it was like you could hear a pin drop because there were no dudes on there. Everyone was staring at us.
Really? For real?
Oh, one guy said out loud, "How are you going to moor that thing without any men?"
Uh-oh.
And you know me, I've been catching mooring balls since I was like 8 years old. So I trot up to the bow, tits out, and I moored the boat. And I was like, "Have a good day, sir."
Classic.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Yeah, throw a challenge at any of those women on that boat.
yeah, right? And Morgan and I joke all the time about like athletically because I always say like, I'm not that competitive, which is such bullshit.
Right.
We're like, we're not here to race the women. We're here to beat the men.
For those of us that know you both, that's no surprise whatsoever. Hold on. And what's your boat name?
Shaka Khan.
Why?
So my dad had a boat. It was my grandpa's boat. I always wanted a boat. I told my financial advisor when I was 24 that I was going to buy a boat when I was 50. So when I was 35 and I was buying my boat, I was like, I'm so ahead of schedule. So her name is Shaka Khan, and it's spelled like Shaka, but it's like, so it's an homage to the singer. And then I love that song, I'm every woman. I told you I would sing.
Yeah, you did. Well
Delivered.
done.
Anyways, labor of love, amazing opportunity to work with my dad on something like that where he could teach me a lot of things.
And it was awesome because he was at my store around the corner from where you keep Shaka Khan, getting lots of stainless steel stuff constantly 100%. For a while.
And yeah, him teaching what his dad taught him to me, and I'm like 35 having this like experience with my dad that most kids get that I didn't get at that time. So we like put this boat together. It's beautiful because
you're going to be my escort in a couple weeks for the Bend.
Forever I will escort you for the Bend every single time.
Hallelujah.
You and Mike Schultz.
Mike Schultz.
The homie.
The homie from the Pacific Northwest. Listen, I would love to keep going. I've got a couple quotes I'd love to share with you that when I was talking to Danny. So Danny Nichols.
Were you talking to Danny about me?
Everybody talks about you. Just from recognition, Danny Nichols and Kyle Kelly, the co-founders, you've now taken over. Danny was the executive director. Yes. You've now taken that from him. He referred to you as, he said, Whitney is now Batman and I am now Robin. So
yes, but he and I are still work married.
For sure.
100%.
Yes. And if you spend any time with you guys, you see that firsthand.
Yeah.
A couple things that he said, just conversation, Danny kind of speaks in sound bites. And so we were speaking, he said, Whitney is, here are the quotes, an empathetic, inclusive, loving ass kicker as a leader. And I just love that. So I kept that one. He said, but you got to remember, she's been the shadow government for OpenWater for a long time anyway.
Correct.
For those of us in the know have seen you helping direct. And as you said earlier about when you got on the boat for the first time, you're like, this is wrong, this is wrong. Like anybody, that's how you do everything, right? You did that at school, you do that with the boat, and you have done that with OpenWater. You've been helping direct from behind for a long time. So it's good to see you where you belong. Definitely said you were at the tip of the spear. And what he said, and you've said it, and I think your whole conversation today, it seems like destiny that you're in this chair as executive director for OpenWater today. Everything you talked about has dovetailed. Like, again, and I didn't know much about, I knew the outcome and some of the challenges of your marriage. I didn't know it to the degree that you shared, but all of the experience, and now you want, anybody would wonder, like, well, I know why she's so passionate about OpenWater and working with the families and working with the kids and working with the spouses, because that's you.
Yep.
And what you went through.
100%.
Pretty amazing. Would you ever have guessed that you would be the executive director of a nonprofit?
No, not even. I never planned on teaching my whole adult career, but I had no idea what was next. And so for teaching to end so abruptly for me, and to have this like waiting in the wings, it just was like the obvious right thing to do. And, I don't know. I get dressed like twice a month. So it's ideal.
Well, that's a good thing. Now, somebody I've overlooked, you've got somebody else from this world in your world. Who's that?
Are we talking about Adam?
Yeah, I was going to
Oh
talk
my
about
God,
Adam.
I love him.
You met him through this.
I met Adam at OpenWater.
He's ex-fire. Is that correct?
Yes, he left the fire service 2 years ago. He was in the Army too back in the day.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. I had lunch with some teacher friends like right after he and I got together. And I was like, you guys, I met someone, he's so awesome. And they're like, oh yeah, what branch of service is he in?
You're predictable, are you?
I would say no, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
He's so good.
He's a good guy. And he's very
so
active
good.
in OpenWater as well.
Yes, and now, he's literally, like, I'm Danny's left hand, he's my right hand.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Whit, if somebody wanted to find out more about OpenWater, the services, what you provide, upcoming events, where do they go?
Dude, DM me on Instagram at BeOpenWater.
BeOpenWater.
At BeOpenWater. And then beopenwater.org, the website. So there's a little get involved thing on there, and you can fill that form out and it goes straight to my email. If you scan a QR code or send a DM or whatever, it comes to me.
Perfect.
And then if you're a participant, Adam will call you on the phone and just figure out what is your deal and how can we become part of your deal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You've got 2 events coming up. These are 2 of the annual events. What are they? And then we're going to put a pin in it.
Could talk all day.
I know we could.
9/11 Honor Challenge. Thank you so much.
That's a badass workout.
Presenting sponsor, Crown East Hardware. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
September Roundup. Let's go. Tangent on that. My first time helping with 9/11 Honor Challenge, I called my stepmom, Lori, and I said, I don't know how to do a fundraiser. And she goes, call Mark Schuline. And I called you. I was in Tahoe, and I called you on the phone, and I was like, is he going to remember who I am?
Oh, my gosh.
And we have been working together ever since on
Yep.
that, which is so cool.
Well, you know, it's really interesting. And again, I keep going back in while I'm trying to get out. I had a mutual friend of Danny's tell me for years I needed to meet Danny Nichols. And that's Dr. Terry Romine, who was also in here. He worked on me forever. He's worked on Danny.
He worked on my shoulder.
Right. And so he's like, dude, you got to meet him. And I'm like, yeah, someday.
Sure, whatever.
And it just never happened.
Yeah.
And then you call me after you talk to Lori, and we start, and you introduce me to Danny Nichols, and Danny's become one of my favorite humans, just like you. So it's just been
I never
cool.
met Danny until I met Danny, and we ran circles around each other in the surf industry for years and never met. And so everything happens at the right time.
Yeah.
For sure.
So 9/11 Honor Challenge.
9/11 Honor
Look it up.
Challenge.
It's an amazing workout.
September
very, very
7th, Huntington Beach High School.
And then the Channel Crossing.
And then obviously the Channel Crossing and Veterans Day. Kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Big deal. Listen, I just want to say thank you for what you do and everybody at OpenWater. I was not military. I was not active duty. I was not, first responder, but I love and respect. We said hello to the officers this morning.
It was so hard for me not to give them a business card.
Right?
I was like, leave them alone.
But you are supporting the people that support communities and our country every day. That's what you do. There's nothing more important. My quality of life is incredible because of those people that you serve. And as you shared today, it is a tough world. You never get to come down. Danny talked a lot about the science of it. So just thank you for the role. It's cool to see you in it, especially in light of what you've come through. And again, I think you found yourself, I think everybody's luckier for it. Yourself, we, the community, because of your role in OpenWater. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm stoked. This is like the perfect job for me. I'm so happy.
Rad.
Yeah.
We'll keep it up. You're the best. So fun. Wild, nerd, Whitney, the pirate, and the
now
executive
you see
director.
me cry. So
More than once.
You're officially one of my very good friends.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Whit.
Yeah. Thank you.